guys, Virginia here, and I'm back with another 12x12 process video for you today for Kitaholic Kits using the lovely Make It. So I'm using again one of the exclusive cut files. I love the exclusive cut files. They're fun and they go perfectly with the kit. So this is a gorgeous kind of butterfly design. They're all kind of swooshing around the page, so I'm going to use them, and I'm just going to go ahead and back the cut file with pen and papers from the pocket page kit. So I'm going to bring in a bunch of colours for the body, and then kind of use a alternative colour for their wings, I guess. So I'm just cutting some strips and popping them on the bodies of the butterflies. I'm going to go ahead and do some yellow rectangles, just pop them on. I'm just doing 2 to 3 of each colour, so I'm going to do a yellow here, another yellow on this one down the bottom, and then I can kind of flip them over and trim off the excess when I glued them down. So I'm going to go with pink with these ones, and then once I've trimmed off the excess, I can kind of just quickly do the same with larger pattern paper on the butterfly wings. So I've gone ahead and finished backing that. It was a really quick cut file to back, and I'm going to add a bit of adhesive foam behind it just so I can prop it up. And I wanted to use the stamps that came in this month's kit. I knew that there was a bunch of flowers. I could have done butterflies, I really could have, but I'm actually in the process of moving, and I had just literally packed up all of my inks. I managed to find my Versamark floating around, but everything else was kind of packed up. So I've got my Versamark and my gold embossing ink, not ink, powder. So I'm going to use the flowers from the stamp set. I'm just rubbing them on my hand. It's a good idea to prime your stamps. So you can either use an eraser or your skin, the oils from your skin will kind of help prime it as well, and that just means you should get a rather crisp image. So because I'm embossing, I want to use some anti-static powder, so I've got my little anti-static powder tool. It doesn't quite come out the end, so what I generally do is just undo it and dump a bunch on my page. You can, in my opinion, never have too much powder on your well, you can have too much, but I give it a good healthy dose of it and flick off any excess, because I really don't want excess embossing powder sticking to my paper. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So I've done the powder, I've popped my Versamark embossing ink on there, and then I'm just going to pop the gold embossing powder on it, and it came up beautifully. So I'm just going to use my heat gun and melt that embossing powder. So I like to do the back for a little bit first. That kind of starts the melting process, and then when you flip it over and do the front, you get a really gorgeous crisp image. So I went ahead and did another couple off screen, and then I'm going to fussy cut these out. I stamped them on Nina Solar White 80 pound cardstock, just because it's a nice crisp cardstock. You could definitely use any other cardstock, I think would be fine, but this the kind of stuff that I gravitate towards for my stamping. So I've fussy cut them out. My cut file's all done, and now I need to find a 12x12 background for my layout. So I've got a few options here. I've got this gorgeous kind of pink chiffon design. I like the idea of the sky, and I really like the idea of the black and white. I'm kind of trying to cover up that branding strip. I go with the pink. I like the pink. It means that I can bring in a whole bunch of those florals and things like that, and they're all still going to pop off the page beautifully. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go for. I'm just going to trim down my photo. The photo is of Edison. We'd been to her kindy Christmas party, and it's like rather like getting later in the evening, and so that's why my photo has a really dark blue hue on it, and they've got lots of trees in the kindy playground, so of course there's lots of shadows as well. So that was the best I could do for editing it, but it's still a lovely little moment. She's kind of going over this little clatterbridge type thing on the playground in her pretty little dress. So I'm still going to document it regardless of what the quality of my photos. I still document them, because at the end of the day, your photos are never ever going to be perfect. We don't all have these fresh hairy cameras floating around. We don't lug them around with us, do we? And there is never a perfect situation. The best moments that you want to document are always those awkward random times. So in my opinion, just scrap those horrible photos, because who cares? It's the story you're telling, in my opinion. Okay, so I went ahead and adhered down that cut file. I'm just going to back my photo with pattern papers. I really like that like whitewash kind of wood grain that was going around the frame of the other 6x6 paper pad. So I just used 2 of the corners of it to kind of make up a full mat for my photo. So that's how I've got around that. I've brought in that other one. I'm just bringing in this other wood grain or basket weave, whatever you want to call it, for my final layer. And I'm going to pop a little bit of foam at the bottom of the photo because it's sitting on top of my cut file, which is already raised up on foam, so I don't need any at the top. Okay, so it sits perfectly in that little curve of the butterflies. So now I can start to kind of embellish. Now we're just going through the Heidi Swap die cuts first that were in the kit. I'm going to start going through the Kaiser Craft ones, and just pull out some bits and pieces from there. I've got a little frame. I love my frames. I've replaced that with the black one. I like the sentiment on it, and it brings in a pop of black because we've got some black in those butterflies, so I want to bring some down around the photo. I'm going to start another little cluster up to the top right hand corner up there with that other little sentiment that I've pulled out of the die cut pack, and just kind of continuing to look through pieces. I've found these little tags from the pull apart sheets from the pocket page kit. I've just fussy cut the butterflies out of them, so I've just tucked them in amongst that cut file. And now I'm going to go through the Amy 10 sticker sheet. I wanted to bring in, like I said, some more pops of black, so there's some gorgeous little black clear stickers in that sticker book. So I've just propped one of those florals underneath that little flower die cut up the top, and I'm just going through some more die cuts. I forgot I had been and taken photos of one of my layouts, and I'd popped these die cuts on the board and forgot to put them back, so I had some more die cuts that I'd forgotten I had, so I'm just kind of sifting back through them. So like I said, I found some flowers, so I'm just going to add a few of them in. I'm going to bring in those little gold embossed ones, just tuck them in each of those clusters just for a little pop of gold on my layout, and just kind of continuing to look through. I've got another little black clear sticker that I'm going to pop in this cluster up here, just to kind of make all of my clusters cohesive. Some of those little tiny black flowers, which I thought were great to kind of pop around the page, so I'm doing that as well, just adding them. I tend to get a little bit carried away with myself. I want to just keep embellishing and finish off the entire page before I've glued everything down, so I do rein myself back a little bit shortly and glue everything down and then kind of finish off those final little embellishing bits. But for now I'm still just kind of looking to see what I can fit on the page. I do find these little heart stickers. I go a little bit crazy with them and pop them all around the page. The colours go beautifully with this kit, so getting a bunch of them around the layout. Just a couple in each of those clusters and around those butterflies. And I'm back now. I think I had to stop and kind of put things down. You'll notice my top has changed. I've been out and done a whole lot of work. Come home. And now it's time to kind of finish off this layout. So I'm just adding a few little pieces. I'm going to add some leaves into my clusters and bring some of that dark green in. So I'm just cutting them apart and tidying up the bits that I've cut. And I'm going to tuck them in my layers, in those clusters that I've got going on. And I think what else? Just double checking to see what else I can bring onto the page. I wanted to bring them in those little tabs. I love tabs. So I'm just going to lay that on my photo, fold it over, and it adheres to itself. And a little sentiment. It says be happy. So that kind of echoes that be happy. That's going to be my title that's sitting on the photo. So I like that. Now I'm going to start gluing everything down. So I'm popping a little bit of glue behind those hearts. Just because they're not super sticky, so I want to make sure that they stay on my layout. And then I can start with like my bigger clusters and my butterflies. Glue them all down. Just going to work my way around from the bottom to the top. And there we go. I didn't make you watch it all. Now these little puffy stickers, these are from the Kitaholic Kits shop. I bought them, I think last month, or maybe, oh, I'm not sure when, but I just saw them in the shop and I thought that they were super cute. I've just got them sitting on my desk beside me in this little kind of bin that I've got little enamel shapes and puffy stickers in, just random ones. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring them onto the layout. There's some black and white, there's some pinks and reds and mints, but I'm just focusing on the black and white ones for this layout, and they're going to kind of continue that heart theme that I've got with those flat stickers from the Amy Tan kit, and these are going to bring a little bit of dimension around the page. So I'm just adding a few of them. I'm popping a little bit of glue behind them just to make sure they stay. I'm just going to pull off an X and an O just to pop this beside my title. Brings in a little pop of green there. And then after that, I think that's pretty much it for my layout. So I do hope you enjoyed the process. Like I always say, if you want to check out the kits or the shop, the link is in the description box below. But until next time, bye guys.